Trying to get back on track can be a hassle, but it is not impossible. It just needs some time and adjusting. So the last 2 weeks I've been busy to try and get back on track, which I wanted to go perfect. And I demanded of myself that I would execute my plan as perfectly as possible without making any mistakes. And doing too much does not exist, because how can I possibly do too much? I want to do all kinds of things that are beneficial to me, right? So I wouldn't be overwhelmed.
Lord have mercy.
Hello, I'm Layla, and welcome back to my weight loss and self-improvement series, a journey that focuses on long-term change. Now let's dive right into my plan and how I approached it during week 11 and 12. I formulated a new plan that consists of 4 components, with the first one being having a morning and evening routine. It has been a very long time that I had a morning routine, and I never really had an evening routine. And I know that those 2 routines can be quite beneficial and can help you overall throughout your day. So I wanted to try it out. And this is how I wanted my routines to look like. And remember, I barely did a morning or evening routine in my life. Now, how many times do you think I executed these routines perfectly? 0 times. How many times do you think that I saw the routines as big chores and I got overwhelmed? Every day in week 11 and partly in week 12. How many times did I have a good morning routine? 5 times. Why? Because I did a simplistic version of the original morning routine. And how many times did I had a good evening routine? 4 times. Again, because I did a simplistic version of the original routine, which was apparently I made it way too big. Because wanting to have a morning and evening routine, I realized I had to take very small steps. And now I thought that I was already making small steps, but alas, apparently I am not good at estimating things sometimes. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You can learn from it, you can grow from it, and you can adjust. So for me, I had to make it simplistic. If I have to make it even more simplistic, then I will do it. If I have to start from just doing one small thing and have to building it up, then I will have to do that. The second component, embody different identities. Now, I barely did this one. It was too vague. I didn't really know what to do, despite reading up on it and know that it is beneficial. I just formulated it too vague. Instructions not clear.
Better be more specific.
So the idea behind this is that if you want to become a certain person, or you want to have a certain career, or you want to work towards a certain goal, and you have to do things in order to become that person or to achieve that goal, you can ask yourself, what would this person do in this situation? So for example, if you want to go to the gym, but you don't really know what to do, or you do not want to go, you can ask yourself, what would an athlete do? Or what would a disciplined person do? If you want to make music or you want to learn a new instrument, you can ask yourself, what would a musician do in this situation? If you want to go and eat, ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? So by embodying those different identities and asking yourself what certain people would do in these specific situations, you are more able to actually do them. Taking that example again from the gym, thinking about what would an athlete do, what would a disciplined person do? Now they would probably go to the gym and they would do their workout. If you just simply would put on your workout clothes or just go to the gym, you showed up. You don't even have to exercise. And for the next time, if you would do that again and again and again, eventually you probably will go and exercise. In the essence, you showed up for yourself. And that is a trait that the athlete or disciplined person has. So you don't have to make it too big. Just do, even if it's the bare minimum that you do, you are still working towards the person that you want to become. You're still working towards the goal or goals that you want to achieve. So I eventually want to become the best version of myself. And in week 5, I wrote down in detail how the best version of me looks like. And I wrote it down once and put it away in a drawer to be never seen. And for me, when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So I grabbed my notebook out of that drawer and I was reading again how the best version of me looks like. And it it is basically my North Star, and I should be reminded of it more often. So I placed it in a visible spot. I will replace embody different identities with embody different identities if I don't know what to do in specific situations. The third component, educate myself. Educating yourself is a form of investing in yourself. It expands your knowledge, your skill sets, you can understand yourself better, you can see things from different perspectives. It can give you tools to help you with specific areas in your life, and the list of benefits goes on and on. In week 11, I've been learning about hyperfocusing and focusing in general, because I'm not very good at focusing on things and it has quite a great impact in my life. So I wanted to know what I can do to focus better, but also how to get into hyperfocus. And I read, well, I'm still reading the book Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey. And if you want to learn more about hyperfocus and just focusing in general, then I would recommend reading that book. In week 12, I started to learn more about ultra-processed food again. Now this time, I made sure to ride along when I watched a video or listened to a podcast or was reading a book about the subject. Because earlier this year, I've watched a lot of videos and listened to a lot of podcasts about UPF, but it didn't really stick. I forgot a lot of things because I did not actively learn from it. I forgot most of the things, so I had to re-educate myself. I'm reading the book Ultra Processed People by Chris van Tulleken. If you want to learn more about UPF, ultra processed foods, then I would recommend reading this book. The fourth and final component. Reflect, reflect, and reflect. Reflecting is a great way to become aware of what you do and what you've done. You can become more aware of mistakes that you've made. And by reflecting, you can find out what went wrong and how you can do better next time. You can also become aware of the positive things that happened. You can look back at how you felt during those moments. You could also become aware that you have improved. Because sometimes we are very busy and things just fly by and we don't really sit still to think about what actually happened or what actually is going on. And so reflecting is a great way to just wind down and turn inwards and be more aware of yourself and the things that are happening to you and the things that you are doing. I reflected every day. And on some things I was improving and on some things I was struggling. Like for example, out of nowhere, I was eating a lot of chocolate every day. And I was eating a lot in the evening. And I didn't really understand why. I was judging myself for that negatively, which did not help me because I was doing those things day in and day out. And I was reflecting on it. And I was aware of that I was doing it, but I did not understand why I could not stop or how it started, and it was just happening. So in week 12, I decided to not only reflect, but also observe myself. After some days, I noticed a very strong pattern and I understood my behaviors better. This allowed me to adjust, and it resulted into me eating less chocolate and not eating crazy much in the evening anymore. Some other things that happened this week. I had a preventive medical check, if I translate that correctly, which was provided by my employer, and it consisted of a questionnaire about physical and mental health, but also how you feel at work, and a physical check. So my weight and my fat percentage was too high. I mean, surprise, surprise, no surprise. But the rest of things was good. So my blood pressure, cholesterol, eyesight, everything was good. So I am a healthy person, but I am morbidly obese, so I'm not. I, by the way, weighed in at 112.9 kilos, which means that I've lost more than 1 kilo. After weeks of declining and being stuck, these last 2 weeks I've noticed that my mental health has been improving. Something else that happened was I was not allowing myself to do things that are or could potentially be beneficial because it was not part of the plan. So for example, I wanted to time block. I've never done it before, and so I tried it out for one day and I already saw the benefits of it. I was more productive than I usually was, but I did not allow myself to do it again because it was not part of the plan. And same was for treating the choices and actions that I make and take in a day as votes casted for or against me. I know that that works for me because I've done it before. In week 1 till 4, somewhere along the way, I stopped doing that, and a very good friend of mine reminded me of it again because she was interested in it and wanted to know more about it. She's, by the way, the biggest fan and supporter of this channel. And while I was talking with her about it, I realized that it is a good method and it is something that had a positive influence on me and that helped me. So why did I stop doing that? But I still did not allow myself to do it because it was not part of the plan. I was depriving myself of change and I was depriving myself of adjusting to things. And I said in week 2 that I want to be more experimental, and I said in my last video that I want to look at things that I know work for me because I built the evidence this year, and I let that go the last 2 weeks. So I will be embracing them again. Things do not have to go perfect and things do not have to be perfect, which is something that I have to remind myself of more often. Maybe you recognize it. Working towards a goal or working towards something for the long term comes with a lot of hurdles, and many mistakes will be made. Progress is not linear. Sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it gets extremely slow, and sometimes it stops for a while. But it's all part of the process. I want to share and show how a process of a journey realistically looks like. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And in my case, it's about self-improvement, losing weight, and becoming healthy. We can be easily blinded by people online that only show the good parts of their lives, only show the highlights, and sometimes they show fabricated versions of their lives, letting you think that they are living a perfect life, while in reality, they highly probably are not. If you are on your own journey, and I know some of you are, I hope things are going good. Keep on going. Do not quit. Quitting is not a solution. If things are not going great right now, it is part of the process. It is part of your journey, but do not be discouraged by it. You can do this. I can do this. We can all do this. You got this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Tabé.